What is going on, everyone? My name is Boyd, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the bottom of the map. In the red color, playing as Loki, his name is Hagrit. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Hades, is F2 player. The map is Marsh, and this is the Bill Gregg Open 1v1 tournament for the $1,000. It's the round of 32. These people, player had a bye, and Hagrit took a tough win against a very strong player in the first round. So he's up against another very, very strong player. We've got a player up here. Player is known for his Greek. He's a very strong Greek player, and he's been really working on his Hades recently. Hades seems to have been sort of slept on in the past. He's always been like not quite as good as Zeus, so why play him? But nowadays, with the extra buffs he's got the really strong Toxotes and all the other stuff that comes with being Hades, with the strong buildings and all the like. People are starting to realize, you know what, Hades is pretty good because you don't really die very often. Like, you can survive a lot of beating and come out ahead often. So we're seeing them take the Hades at the start of this series on this map. Now, over here we've got Hagrit. Hagrit is a extended edition player, and he's one of the strongest extended edition players over there at the moment. And he's actually a random god player. He's been playing the game for quite a while now, and he plays every single one of the gods equally. Most of the time he just clicks random god and he just goes with the punches. But given that you get to see what map you start on, it means you get to pick whatever god you want on that specific map. So Hagrit's feeling real comfortable against, with Loki it looks like, against the Greek enemy. We've been watching a few of these Loki versus Hades matchups on these high hunt maps, and it can go really, really well for Loki if you make the correct decisions. And oftentimes those decisions are basically just get map control and then abuse your Fleming weapons and your Nidhogg. If you can abuse those, it's really, really good. So far, we've seen some relics here. We've got the Anvil of Hephaestus. Really, really good relic. That's the negative 10% armory and Dwarven armory upgrades. Very, very good, that one. And we have Odin's Wand. That one, I think you should aim to get that as Loki. It pulls the Hall of Thanes upgrade down to 240 wood. 60 wood is not something to be sniffed at. And also, Mithril Horseshoes. This is a really good relic here. These are actually, all three relics are really, really good. I would actually probably rate this one the best, and then we've got the Anvil, and then we've got the Odin's Wand. So we'll see if Hagrit rushes those, and we'll see if an Ajax comes out early for player, because they've both sort of scouted those. Got the Catastropis running here. Ooh, early Sentinel. I'm not sure what the point here is with the early Sentinel. Oftentimes we need these to defend the Ford Town Center from flaming weapons. And you save it until the flame weapons comes, obviously, and then you place it on the town center that they're going for, and it makes the town center very, very strong. But Sentinels on the home base, I guess player feels like he needs them to just defend himself as his temple coming down. It is in range of this Sentinel, so maybe he's chucking it down just so that his temple is going to be in a nice protective place. He's also walling in this hunt here, so he can always move back onto that deer if he needs to in the future. If he gets pushed off that one, it will be totally fine for him. More houses coming up for player, and he should be totally fine here. Getting to that next age. Nice spy that's come down. Oh, unlucky, a little bit of an idle villager there, just because of this little embellishment on the land here. The rocks causing chaos for this gathering party here. But click this observer button so it doesn't get too angry at me. Player is just advancing through Athena now, and Forseti coming through. Got 30% Forseti and 20% Athena here, so player a little bit late. I think he wanted to advance a bit faster than he did here, but he should be fine. There should be no issues here for him, and we're going to be seeing some of those Hersa pumping out. We do see the Anvil getting grabbed first. He does know about this one, so not grabbing it is interesting. I know he's probably not going to build the raiding cavalry at all this game. He's going to want to pump out as many Hersa as he can, but he definitely want to prevent your opponent getting the Mithril Horseshoes, because if player does get out his own Hippocon, he can start chasing around those Hersa with the Hall of Thanes much easier because of the extra boost in speed. And now we're probably going to see the Hersa run to both of these relics here, and he's going to grab all three of those relics as of the Ajax hasn't even come out yet. He's starting to get built, and by the time this Hersa gets to this relic, it's going to be totally fine. So all the relics for Hagrit. going to be a very happy boy there getting all of those. The gold mine placement, though, for Hagrit's really, really bad. And if player notices this, which he has done, he's scouted the base with this scout, he should be thinking about, well, can I put pressure on here? We are seeing the military academy coming up now for player. He has to get off that gold mine as he's sort of pressured by the Hursa. There is an Ajax here as well to defend. The Troll's getting a little bit out of position. He might get chased down by the Chiron there. Don't want to be sending him too far forward. But as I was saying, this forward gold mine here is really exposed, and we're seeing Hagrit have to put his buildings out around here just to defend against this. And player may be able to get some really hyper-aggressive movements coming in once he starts getting out a significant amount of army, utilizing the restoration and forcing Hagrit to attack him or fight him basically in the classical age, which is something that you don't want to be doing as Loki against Hades. General gist of it is get to the heroic age before you fight, because then you get the age up buff on the Hursa to make them even stronger. So we'll see if you can manage to get through to that mythic age, the heroic age or not. More units are pumping out. We've got the 1-1-1 from player. Looks like he's going for Hoplite, Toxotes, and Hippocon. Now we're seeing the Hursa coming in to bash this down. We're checking out Hagrid's economy. He's got the favor to get that Hall of Thanes up, but he doesn't have it just yet. So these Toxotes are going to deal a little bit of damage to them as they're running away. Going to get a couple of hits on them, but he shouldn't take any losses here. Just a little bit of bruised ego for these Hursa as they get away, and they should just be a re-heal, get the healing spring up, and he should be totally fine. Oh, we're seeing the Chiron abusing this wood here. Hagrid should just give up on this wood, move over onto this location, and he'll be fine. He's got Hall of Thanes incoming already, and that's perfect for him. Well, he's going to lose this Gatherer if he's not careful. He's running away. This is going to be really, really big for player. Every single villager this early is really big for the Loki player. If you lose them, it's really bad. At some stage in the game, if you lose your villagers, it's not so bad, but I don't like seeing a random villager death there. Unfortunately, the Chiron gets the pick off, and he's just going to run around and be totally fine. And now the player army is looking vicious, and maybe this stable is just here for show. Maybe a bit of a fake out and just not, and trying to like fake Hagrid and not expect this attack. Now the villagers, they run out of that boar in the perfect time there, and they start making their movement away, and then Hagrid cues them away. Going to get these villagers out without losing any of them. Now the army is a little bit out of position here for player, but he does have restoration, and Hagrid can now start thinking about making a movement into player's base. But he's got such ridiculously good defensive hunt here. This back hippo is huge. He had this gazelle or deer here, I should say, and everything else. The army of player is sitting here in the middle, and it's going to be fine. Just running around and doing its thing. Maybe players going to be looking to come into this location here. But the villagers have just rotated over onto this board. They're going to be totally fine with that. The scouting from players not that great. This catastrophe is sitting on this town center. It's not the best use of it. I would much prefer to see some patrolling going on if you come here and go over here, and then, or like maybe sit here and come here, and then he knows that this location is covered, this location is covered, this location is covered. It's really big to cut Loki off hunt basically. And now we're seeing Loki player Hagrid moving in here, needs to prevent this attack from happening and causing any significant damage. The armory is up. Hagrid's got 800 gold in the bank, so he's fine with the gold. He's not going to be producing any more of those Hursa until he's clicked up Bragi, and he has clicked up Bragi, so that's going to be totally fine. He's going to be losing some longhouses though. He's got the wood to rebuild them. He doesn't really care about this position at this point. He is moving on to this gold mine, and by the time all of these buildings are dead, he should be okay to continue here, but it is going to be fairly large if the units start moving into this location, which they're going to do instantly. We're sitting at 25% heroic here. These villagers for Hagrid are going to have to move away from this location here. We've got enough food to build out a couple more Hursa. The population is now 102 for player to the 76 for Hagrid, and he's going to be short houses as well as they start getting picked off. He needs to be above population cap. of the houses while the flame weapons comes down. Otherwise, you're going to be in a real terrifying time because you're not going to get out those myth units that you really need. And as he is throwing down these houses, Hagrid is, he's still kind of popped here. He needs to get these houses down, maybe throw them down with these Herser as well before he starts to fight this. Bragi is incoming, and this is going to be a defensive. This might be a defensive flaming weapons here. If he can get us around on this, which he does have, the Mythic Age has come in, and now players just going to be like, I got to get out of here, right? Surely he tries to get out of here. Flaming weapons is probably going to come down. We need to have a better surround here for Hagrid. There's so many units here. Nice micro into that sentry tower, and Hagrid's not going to pull the trigger just yet. He's got the villagers back over on here. There is one Toxite just preventing that gold mine. Really nice play so far for player. He's sitting on this gold mine here, and he's controlling this location really, really well. But Hagrid hasn't lost any units yet, which is huge, given that he's been denied some resources for quite a while now. He's still got these hippopotamus in the back here. He's got this tree in the back here, and this Toxodia has just been a complete pain in the ass right now. He may be able to pick off this Ox card if he's not careful, and that's going to be really big. Maybe Hagrid needs to queue up that next Ox card just preemptively. There's some Hippocon in this location as well. We're seeing another Longhouse for Hagrid coming out. Is he looking to go to the Mythic Age now? He's just got so much food in the bank. He needs to be spending that at some point. He's got still 300 gold left in this gold mine. He can rotate over onto that and just finish it off. If he gets off that 385 gold, as well as the gold that's in the hands of these dwarves, then he should be able to pop here. And if he can get to 115 pop, flaming weapons, this army, it's going to be huge because Hagrid has over armied here. If you look at his army, he's got more than 30, which means he's sitting at pop, which means he doesn't have any more villagers coming out. So while he is dealing the damage, should be fine here. But Hagrid's not. He's leaving his base. Don't leave your base. You can trap this army right now. Your units are so fast. You can flaming weapons this army and just completely decimate it. But it looks like he's just not happy with that. He wants to be going for the base of player, and player's going through to the heroic age through Apollo at the moment. So he's going to be able to underworld back to his base if he so chooses and run away from the flaming weapons when it comes down. And now player's going to be going for the town center. It's just going to be a base trade here. This town center goes down so much faster than players though. And player's got the sentinels here. We've got the Iron Here that's running. We've got the watchtower coming down right now. Players, it looks like Hagrid's going to be retreating now. The town center is going to be going down at this point. There's the Minotaur here somewhere. No, the Minotaur's being picked up. But the Hoplite are so strong. We do see Masons is incoming. The army's going to be coming back. And Apollo has come in now. So now player can just underworld back here when he takes down the town center. And he's going to be completely happy to just leave once flaming weapons comes down. And this is going to spell complete disaster for Hagrid as he comes in. He can't not cast flaming weapons right now, and there's the flaming weapons. It comes down. You're gonna see a couple of units get picked off here, and then player can, or he's even just gonna restore here. Chucks the restore down, and Hagrid taps out. GG, well played by player there. Man, I feel like Hagrid made that one little error there. He was getting chased around. It was a really nice timing push by player, but had he pulled the trigger once he had pulled his army out, he gets his army to here, player comes in, then you have that timing window between the like 50% and 100% of the heroic age of player, pull the trigger on the flaming weapons, and then at least you get a really good fight, and these Herso do some real damage, but player just takes that one. Super well played there by player. Currently 1-0 for him in this best of 5. We'll move on to game number 2 shortly when the players are ready. Stick with me. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll get that game going.